home. We have returned home from Bald Head Island off of the coast of North Carolina. As you guys can tell from the mini adventure vlogs that we had here on the main channel and the mini vlogs that we had over on the vlogging channel, it was amazing. It's the very first time I've ever been to a beach in North Carolina, and it's the very first time I've ever been to a beach with Chips. So it was definitely an experience that I was so happy to share with him and his family. And it was just so wonderful for me because it was abundant with wildlife and nature trails and tours that we were able to go on with the biologists from the conservancy. And honestly, one of the things I loved the most about the whole thing was being able to share the experience with you guys and do so many adventure vlogs and go out and push myself like out the door in the morning. It's like, okay, Seri, go find something new. So go find those creatures, go find those specimens to be able to record and share and educate you guys about. That was fantastic. And I look forward to an entire life of that, to upgrading to better cameras, to being able to travel more, to really interviewing more people. It was wonderful. And I thought before the memories began to fade and I forget what it felt like to have the sand under my feet and to watch the first anole of the morning skitter up the side of the deck, I would mention to you guys real quick 5 things that I really loved about Bald Head Island, and then also show off my treasures. You can imagine, being me, Seri likes to bring home specimens, legal specimens. Mind you, not specimens like the shells you're not supposed to touch. Definitely not a sea turtle egg. Don't do that, you guys. That's totally illegal. You're gonna go to federal prison for that. But yeah, I do like to collect seashells. I like to collect even little bits of wood or an acorn or pebbles. Who knows? I just think they're fun. And actually, you guys can tell by looking over my desk and looking at my house, the bookshelf in the background is entirely full of specimens. So is this one right here. All of these things I can teach you guys about. I can pick up and I can tell you, like this guy. Beautiful baby's ear that is from Ocracoke Island in North Carolina. I guess I have been to an island off the coast of North Carolina with my family before, but it was the first time I went to like a beach because Ocracoke's really pretty, but I wouldn't call it like an island beach, the way that you feel secluded and you feel like you're just kind of like away from all of the development. So I have been to the coast of North Carolina before. I feel so bad. I forgot about the Ocracoke adventures. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, forgive me. But yeah, I can pick up specimens off of my desk and just show them to you guys and tell you guys about them, and that's really fun. So I try to bring home new ones to replenish my supply, kind of expand my understanding of the world as time goes on. And I thought I would show my favorite treasures that I found to you guys really quickly. And actually, what's really fun is you guys were with me when I found all of this. I vlogged almost everything over on the vlogging channel. So if you want to see the very first time I found my very first sea urchin, which is amazing, then you can go over to the vlog channel and you can see the moment when I'm looking at the sand and look up and I go, oh darling, look, there's a sea urchin, and plucked this guy right up. So you can see the moment I found it, which I think is really cool. But I'm very excited. This is a little sea urchin shell, and I'm really happy to have it because there were people that I spoke with at the conservancy, the biologists who are out on the beach multiple times every day, who have never found a sea urchin. So I found one like my first or second day there, just looking down on the ground at a random time around low tide. I was like, oh, look at that, there's a sea urchin. That's really cool. Wow, there must be a lot around here. No, there's not. There's not. Bald Head Island is not like Ocracoke. It's not somewhere you want to go if you're really into shelling. But you can find a few good ones, and I just stumbled on this little guy and managed to get it home safely, so I was very excited. So yeah, that little sea urchin, this is my very first sea urchin that I ever found on a beach by myself, and I think it's only the second one I own because I have this one and then I have Charm. This is Charm. It's a sea urchin I got at a little greenhouse with my little air plant. And you can see they're very, very different. There's so many different species. I would love to do more research about them in the future. But I'm really excited to have this little guy. So I'm going to put him down. And then this, dun dun dun, completes my trifecta of sand dollars. This is the very first sand dollar I have ever found on my own in my whole life. It's the very first intact sand dollar I've ever found. And once again, it's something where I just looked down while walking with Chips along the beach and was like, oh darling, look at this. This is so cool. Wow, there's a lot of nice shells around here. And apparently these are really hard to find because only a few people can find them when they go walking on the beach every now and then. And there we were like the first or second day. So I got struck by lightning twice. And now it gets to come over here and gets to join my little treasure trove of sand dollars. So I have $3 worth of sand dollars right here. And you can see these two have been sent to me in snail mail by wonderful viewers, and I have them on a piece of coral that my family, an aunt and uncle, gave me years and years ago when I was 10. So yeah, that was a long time ago. And now it's just like the perfect stand to be able to display my sand dollars. So there's two of my favorite treasures that I just wanted to show off to you guys. And the other bits and pieces are just kinds of shells that I really liked. I love these tops, and I love just finding a couple nice ones. I don't bring home a lot because you just want to keep a few special items to remember what the adventure was like and what memories you have, including a vertebrae. Look at this. It's a little vertebrae of a fish that I think it's a vertebrae of a fish. I actually have no idea what this is, but I think it's a vertebrae because it looks an awful lot like one. And I'm assuming fish because I found it on the beach. So we found that on the beach too, which was really cool. And there were actually lots and lots of pieces of just driftwood. And I actually think it's very pretty when the driftwood has been pummeled down by the wind and the waves and the sand and eroded almost into like pebble shapes. And so this is a piece of driftwood that has just eroded over who knows how long. And it's very durable because you can drop it on the ground and it's fine. But I really liked it, so I brought it home to just kind of represent some of the things that you can find on the beach. That's one of the things I love doing with my specimens. And then some nice pieces of coral that washed up really high in the high tide area that I really thought was very pretty and brought home. A really cool barnacle. I know, Seri's the type of person who gets excited over barnacle pieces, but I thought that was a really fun barnacle because it's kind of purpley, and it has little bits of seaweed still stuck to it, and it just looked really neat. And I'm also the kind of person who would bring home skate egg cases, because these are very educational pieces that now I can show you guys and I can teach you guys what a skate is. And then this is their little egg purses. So the little eggshells that they make for their babies that will pop out the other end. These are the skate egg cases. You can see where it's kind of open at one end, so the little skate here managed to escape. This one sounds empty, so maybe it was just a dud, but this one's still intact. And these are egg cases that some marine animals have laid and have washed up far above the shoreline. And it's kind of nice to contrast the skate egg case with this egg case, because this is another small whelk egg case I found. I'm gonna open it up maybe on the vlog channel just for fun, or send it to my mom. I have to decide which one. But these are full of the tiny little whelk shells, and the whelk shells are inside of one of my things that I got from the Conservancy gift shop. And then there's this little guy. Look at him, isn't he so cute? This is my little turtle container. Perfect size. It was at the Conservancy gift shop. At Bald Head Island, they do have loggerhead turtles, so sea turtles, which are an endangered species, pretty much all of them. In fact, all of them I'm pretty sure are endangered species. But the loggerhead sea turtle nest up at Bald Head Island. They're protected. Maybe not all are endangered, but they're all protected for sure. And it nests up at Bald Head Island every now and then. So they do have sea turtle season. They usually get anywhere from 80 to 160 nests is what I heard. And then they hatch and the little sea turtles crawl off into the ocean. And I got this because it was blue. There were green ones and orange ones, but I got the blue one. I know, I passed up the green one. Oh my gosh. Because I wanted to remember the sea turtles. I didn't see any sea turtles, didn't see any sea turtle nesting sites or the trails that they drag themselves up the beach and they leave a trail behind with. I didn't see any eggs, but that's okay. I'm actually wearing a sea turtle right now too. So I wore my lucky sea turtle, didn't see any sea turtle, but the crab earrings did manage to score me a lot of fiddler crabs, which was pretty fun. And several crabs, including the little shell I found of one. But it did score me several crabs, which was pretty cool. And then I got this tiny, tiny little shell. These are my treasures I'm sharing with you guys. Tiny little crab shell right there. Really cute. And it's tucked in here with all of my extremely itty bitty baby whelks. So these are the teeny tiny baby whelks that had washed up in their egg case and dried up on land, as you guys saw from that adventure vlog we did. And right over here, this is actually an adult whelk that died and had fossilized. And as you can see, it's very old because it's broken apart. You can see where it's just eroded in so many places and it's been gone for a very long time. But this is the size, that tiny thing I was just holding in the palm of my hand, this is the size they grow into, which is really, really cool. So I brought this guy home because it's a very pretty color and to just have a contrast for the size that they can grow up into. And then just be able to hopefully, like in this little empty part right there, maybe tuck some seashells in there as a decorative piece. Then also this guy, just a really cool looking piece of kelp with some awesome barnacles on the bottom that is dried, and it looked like a little forest, and I really liked that. So you're gonna see these guys, all of these specimens, and now you know where they're from, and you guys were with me when I made the memories of finding them. But you're gonna see these guys in the bookshelf behind me, or when I move in the background of my vlogs. So these are things that you know where they came from, you know a little bit about their biology, you know where like the adventure was that we got them from, and you'll be able to see them in the future. And I really love that about having those kinds of treasures that you go out and you just find and nature provides for you. It's not like you go to the gift shop and get the adorable earrings I also got. These are the little sea glass earrings, green sea glass earrings that I got at the gift shop. And I did get one more thing at the gift shop, and then I will tell you guys all about the 5 things I really loved about Bald Head Island. But I just gotta show you real quick. Okay. So you may remember the painted bunting if you are watching my vlogs, which is a beautiful bird, one of the most beautiful birds in North America, and it breeds up in Bald Head Island. They're very hard to find through most of the country because they tend to stay up along the East Coast, really along kind of more secluded areas where they can breed. They're very popular in Central America and South America, but they're also caught in mass. So their numbers are kind of threatened because they're caught in mass for the pet trade in areas where they're not protected. They are protected in the United States, and they're really cute. And Chips and I spent hours searching the island, and you can hear them everywhere with their beautiful call, but you can't find them anywhere because they're a little bit flighty. So we weren't able to get the males, at least the fully colored males, to show up for us long enough to get a really good video for you guys. But you can see snippets, and you can hear our like laughing frustration at our first attempt at birding if you go over to the vlogs, because we're just like, oh no, we missed him again, and you can just see him fly off. So that was my lesson in getting a better camera with a great optical zoom in the future so I can share that beautiful bird with you guys. But on the last day that we were going to leave the island, I decided I was going to buy myself some painted bunting so I can always remember the hours Chips and I spent wandering together in the forest, listening for the bird song, and all the reading we did online to try to learn more about them and where you can find them. So our very first birding lessons were for painted buntings, and we really enjoyed it, and we're definitely gonna go birding and bring you guys with us in the future next time because it's so fun to try. It's like a treasure hunt for something that moves and flies, and that's really cool. But I went and I bought myself some painted buntings on socks, and they're adorable. I love it. I wish they had these for gold young finches for you guys. I know, right? Everybody's all excited because I would totally wear these. If they had gold young finch socks, they're adorable. But there we go. So this is the last of my treasure pieces. I don't usually collect a lot of things unless it's specimens. And I'm so grateful that I got to share all of the vlogs with you. So really quickly, the 5 things I loved about Bald Head Island. Number 1 is definitely the Ibis Sanctuary. The Ibis Sanctuary totally took my breath away. I had no idea that I was going to be walking into a magical moment when we went on that tour. We got out of the car, we walked through the gate. They have the Ibis Sanctuary in a protected area, so you go through a gate, you walk with your tour guide, you push your way through the palm fronds, and suddenly you're looking at this big giant lake that's just covered in birds. There's big, beautiful white birds just sitting in the trees. They're flying overhead and swooping over. Their bills are scraping along the top of the lake as they start looking for the insects that they eat. And it was just one of the most magical moments I have ever experienced in my entire life. It's going to be an adventure vlog in the future. I'm still kind of putting everything together because it was such a tremendously powerful moment of natural beauty. I am going to carry that with me forever. That's like something that you expect to see in the movies. That's something that you expect to read about in a book. So to actually have walked into a beautiful moment of natural beauty and wonder like that really had a big impact on me. And it was a lot of fun. And I have absolutely no regrets. And I just know every time I close my eyes and think about Bald Head Island, I'm going to remember walking with the group through those leaves and just looking, and the sheer awe that just washed over me when I saw those birds sitting around the lake for the first time. And it was truly a special moment. So the Ibis Sanctuary was definitely my top favorite thing about Bald Head Island. And if you guys ever have a chance to go, I highly recommend going on the tours. You can only get over there when you're on the tours, so you definitely need to register at the Conservancy, and it's totally worth it in my opinion because of just that moment of pushing through the trees and the birds just appearing everywhere. They were like big giant bird blossoms sitting in the branches, so it was really fun. And there were a lot of white egrets too, which are very beautiful with their long trailing like tail feathers, so I highly recommend going and seeing it because it was amazing. So the Ibis Sanctuary was definitely my number one. And for number two, it's actually the deer. It's not only the deer, but how engaged everybody on the island is with the different animals in their community. The people who live on the island, there's only about 150 maximum every year who live all year long on the island. But the people who live there care so much about all of the animals and all of the wildlife on that island. And that really shows in the deer and how they manage their deer populations. They don't cull their deer, even though deer are a huge threat to an island community, because they can just graze everything to the ground. If you leave a bunch of white-tailed deer just overpopulated and roaming a forest, they will destroy the forest. They will eat all of the undergrowth, they will eat all of the saplings, they will start eating the bark and killing the trees that grow. An overpopulation of deer is a very, very, very serious problem that can destroy ecosystems. And once you start destroying all of those plants, you lose the food, you lose the habitats for the other animals, and you just start a cascade of so many species being wiped out. So how are you going to handle that on an island? Well, the people on the island actually care even about their deer, to the point where there's a group called Friends of the Deer, and they have paid to fly out and to train and to have people come and tag their deer with birth control. So they actually go out and they look for the deer on the island and they tag them, and you can see each deer who has been caught has a tag on their ear, and it has the number that they are. And so you can see like deer 77, deer 100, 99 running around, and some of them have radio collars so they can track the movements of the harems, where you have a lot of the females traveling together. And I ran into deer 63. And what's really fun is the people on the island care so much about their animals, including their alligators, including like their snakes, their trees, that you can talk to anybody and they have stories about these animals. So if you go up to one of the residents of the island, or the people who work at the restaurant, or the people who visit every year, or the interns, the biology interns over at the Conservancy, and you mention like, yeah, I saw 63 walking down the street with a bunch of other deer earlier this morning, they will have stories to tell you about 63. They will have memories of 63, a deer. I've never been anywhere where they have a name and a story for the deer that roam in their area. And it's really, really, really interesting. I really like it. And I love how they're very respectful, even for their alligators. There's not the sense of like, the alligator's in our way, we're gonna move it. There's the sense of, oh, that's Stumpy's pond, don't be dumb and like let your dogs or small children near that pond because it's Stumpy's pond. Or they'll talk about watching Allie the alligator, who's about 4 feet, and how is she growing, and everybody has a story to kind of talk about with the wildlife that are on the island. They'll mention the snake they usually see like by the recycling center, or they'll mention the heron that usually nests over in this spot, or how the red shoulder like hawks are doing, or how the bald eagles are doing for the year, if they've come back and expanded their nest. And I really like that. I think it's because it's such a small geographical area and then a very small and tight-knit community that people pay attention to, and they are aware of the hawk that lives in the tree on Federal Road, and so you can talk to them about that. And I don't really live anywhere, I've never really lived anywhere where people will even notice there's a hawk nest out in the tree, and let alone want to talk about it or have stories about it or have memories from the years before of watching the bald eagles build the nest for the last several years. Yeah, I remember like their first clutch and how they did. I remember when I saw one catch like such and such an animal. That's really fun. That's when you know people really, really care, when not only are they like putting money into maintaining all of their wildlife areas, but to when they have stories about the wildlife. So that's that's fantastic. That was my top 2 favorite thing that I loved about Bald Head Island. So if you ever go and you see a deer with a tag, read its number, and then if you want to, strike up conversation with somebody who lives on the island and ask them, you know, have you seen a deer 23? There's not a 23 yet because I think they're only down to 42 and they go down from 100. But just as an example, you can strike up conversation with somebody and they'll probably have stories for you. So that's definitely top 2 favorite thing about the island. And then top 3, this one's pretty easy. The fact that it's a dog-friendly island. There are dogs everywhere. The dog-to-human ratio was probably like 1 to 2 the entire time. It was amazing. There were dogs all over the place. We saw so many dogs getting on the ferry, when we were riding the ferry, getting off the ferry. The ferry master came out and greeted everybody who had their dogs with them and had dog treats to hand out. When you wait at the ferry, there are dog bowls next to all of the benches so that if you brought a dog with you, you will be able to put your dog down and let them get a fresh drink of water. And then if you go to the market, the maritime marketplace, there's actually leash hang-ups. There's a little bone-shaped sign and it's a leash hanging spot so that you can tie the leash up for a moment, and there's big bowls of fresh water put out all over those spots so you can leave your dog outside, just let them relax and drink the water while you go in and grab something real quick from the grocery store. So extremely dog friendly, and people, there's a dog park even. I never saw anybody in it because kind of the whole island feels sort of like a dog park, except where Stumpy might live. But it was really fun because everybody really loves their dogs. And when we were actually on the tram getting ready to go home, that is what some of the people we spoke with on the tram said first attracted them to the island 20 years ago, is that it's a dog friendly island, and their neighbor said she loved bringing her golden retrievers there. So that's how long the island, for 20 years, it's been a very dog positive, dog friendly island, and that's how long they've loved dogs. And I think it's really fun, and you'll just see dogs like walking around over at the ferry docks. And I know I met Mia, and then there was a brown dog who was wandering around, and they belonged to the Delfina's Cantina, which is one of the like 2 restaurants on the island. They belong to the owner of the restaurant, and they just kind of hang out in the front, lay down in the shade. The brown dog would walk up and like headbutt people for pets, and I thought that was really fun. So very dog friendly, and I really liked that too. And then number 3 is, or 4, because the dogs are 3. Number 4, definitely the sheer abundance of wildlife, that there was so much out there. I'm a huge believer in the fact that in most places you can walk out the door, go to the park, and you'll be able to find something if you just look closely enough. Even if it's a funky looking squirrel who's going to chatter at you from a tree, you'll be able to see so much in your own backyard if you look closely enough, slowly enough, if you start learning how to find the animals in your area. But it was really exciting to be able to walk out the door and know, probably if I was patient, in an hour I would be able to see something really fun, like an anole or a pelican or a whole bunch of cute sandpipers or a bunch of fiddler crabs. No matter where I went, I knew if I kind of looked hard enough and went slow enough, I would find a glass lizard or maybe some of the like 5-lined skinks. So it was really fun and refreshing to know that I would be able to find wildlife somewhere. And it was also really, really fun to know like where the nest for the birds were so that I could go and see the hawk fledglings sitting up in their nest. And that's just from the sheer abundance of wildlife that's packed into one little area. It made it very easy to get the adventure vlogs and specimen spotlights for you guys. So I wouldn't mind if it was that easy everywhere. That was fantastic. And then finally, number 5 is a more personal thing, but I loved the night tour we went on. We went on a night tour with the Conservancy, and we had an amazing intern with us. And the reason I love the night tour so much is because I actually had a great time finally being able to talk with and interact with another biology major. And it's been a very long time since I have been able to talk to somebody else in person who's my age and is exploring with me and catching frogs with me, and be able to just share excitement about walking out the door and finding new creatures and being able to point out different frogs, point out different birds, talk about their calls. Not many people in your day-to-day life will want to like dig under rocks or turn over logs and look for salamanders or look for the worms that are there. So it was really refreshing for me to see another biology lover and student in the flesh, again, who's my age, and it definitely drove home how after Chips and I move, I'm going to do my best to try to strike up some friendships with some of the biologists who are over at the university, because it's really amazing to surround yourself with people who are into something that's truly your heart's passion and who are around your age or share your interest with you. So I'm definitely going to try to do that, and I encourage you guys to try that out too if you have like a biology club at your schools, or if maybe you're just like me and you're like, I really just want to hang out with other people who love biology. Maybe you have a college or university nearby that you can even go and just offer to like volunteer at for a little bit. That's what I plan on doing, because I just want to share the passion with people. But yeah, okay, so those were my 5 rambling things that I loved about Bald Head Island, and I just wanted to share them with you guys before the memories begin to fade because of all of the amazing new adventures we have coming up. So I'm really looking forward to sharing all of that with you guys. I hope you have enjoyed our 2016 adventure to Bald Head Island. I would not be surprised if Chips and I end up going back in the future, and I will be sure to share that with you then. So I had a great time, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me share it with you, and remember, you guys, stay curious. Bye-bye.